They said, "You're too old to travel with us." Grandma just watched the house. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of their car pulling away. Tires crunching on the gravel driveway like they were grinding away the last pieces of my heart. I stood at the window, my arthritic fingers clutching the faded lace curtain, watching the taillights disappear into the dawn mist. 68 years old, and suddenly I was nothing more than a house sitter in my own home. The house I'd built with my late husband, brick by brick, mortgage payment by payment. But that morning, something inside me snapped, not with anger, but with a quiet clarity that had been building for years. I wasn't going to watch their house anymore. I was going to reclaim mine. I shuffled into the kitchen, the cold linoleum floor biting at my bare feet, the kind of chill that seeps into your bones on a crisp autumn morning in upstate New York. The coffee pot gurgled as I filled it, the aroma of fresh grounds mixing with the faint scent of last night's pot roast leftovers I'd made for them, thinking it would be a family dinner. But no, Emily, my daughter, and her husband Mark had packed their bags early, whispering excuses about traffic and early flights. "We'll send pictures, Mom," Emily had said, her voice light, as if she were doing me a favor. I poured my coffee black, no sugar, and sat at the wooden table scarred from years of family meals. The chair creaked under me, echoing the emptiness of the room. Outside, the leaves were turning gold and red, falling softly like forgotten promises. As I sipped, memories flooded in, warm at first, then turning bitter like overbrewed tea. I remembered the day Emily was born, in that tiny hospital room in Albany, her tiny fingers wrapping around mine as if I were her whole world. I'd worked 2 jobs back then, seamstress by day, waitress by night, to pay for her piano lessons, her dance classes, the brasses that straightened her smile. "You're my sunshine, Mame," she'd say, hugging me with sticky hands from homemade cookies. And when my husband, Tom, passed from cancer 10 years ago, I sold his old truck to help Emily and Mark buy their first house. "We'll take care of you, Ma," they promised, eyes wet with gratitude. But promises, I've learned, are like autumn leaves. They change color and drift away. Over the years, the warmth faded. Mark started calling the shots, always with that slick smile, like a used car salesman. "We need to borrow some money for the remodel, Evelyn," he'd say. Using my first name instead of Mom or even Grandma, Emily would nod along, her eyes avoiding mine. They'd visit less, call only when they needed something: the roof repair, the college fund for little Tommy. Last Christmas, I baked my famous apple pie, the cinnamon scent filling the house. But they arrived late, ate quickly, and left early, complaining about the drive. "You're getting forgetful, Mom," Emily said once, when I misplaced the remote. "Maybe it's time to think about assisted living." Her words stung like a slap, but I swallowed them, folding laundry in silence, the soft cotton of Tommy's onesies reminding me of the love I'd poured out. The betrayal deepened like shadows at dusk. One evening, months before this trip, I overheard them in the living room while I pretended to nap in my recliner. "She's holding onto that house like it's gold," Mark whispered. "If we convince her to sell, we could use the money for our vacation home." Emily laughed softly. "Yeah. And she can move in with you, Savan Bilsh. Move in with them." As if I were a burden, not the woman who'd raised her. They'd started dropping hints about my will, asking about the deed to the house. "Just in case, Mom," Emily said, her voice sweet as poison. I felt the loneliness then, a heavy blanket smothering me in the quiet nights. The grandfather clock ticking like a heartbeat that wasn't mine anymore. But that morning, after they left me to watch the house, I felt a shift. I set down my coffee mug, the ceramic clinking against the table like a final punctuation. Enough. The word echoed in my mind, calm and unyielding. I wasn't angry. Anger would have burned out. This was wisdom, hard-earned from decades of giving. I thought of the necklace Tom gave me on our wedding day, a simple gold chain with a heart pendant, symbolizing the love I'd guarded all these years. It was time to guard myself. I moved quietly, methodically. First, I called my lawyer, old Mr. Hargrove, my voice steady as I instructed him to revise my will. "Remove Emily and Mark entirely," I said. "Leave everything to charity, the children's hospital, the animal shelter." He paused, but I didn't waver. Next, I packed a small suitcase, my favorite wool sweater, Photos of Tom and baby Emily, the necklace. I changed the locks that afternoon, the new keys cold and empowering in my palm, like reclaiming control. No dramatic scenes, no shouts, just silent steps toward freedom. I listed the house for sale, the for sale sign going up by evening, its red letters, bold against the fading light. They'd wanted it. Now they could buy it like strangers. By nightfall, my phone rang. It was Emily, her voice frantic from the airport. "Mom, what's going on?" The realtor called said, "The house is on the market." I let the silence stretch. The hum of the fridge, the only sound in my kitchen. "Yes," I replied simply. She exploded then, words tumbling out. "How could you? After everything we've done for you, you're being selfish. Think about Tommy, he needs his inheritance." Mark grabbed the phone. "Evelyn, this is ridiculous. You're overreacting. We were just joking about the trip. Come on, be reasonable." Gaslighting, blaming, begging just as I'd expected. But I was done being the soft place they landed. "I've thought about it," I said, my tone even dignified. "For years, I've given. Tomorrow came and went. Promises faded. Now it's my turn." I hung up, the click resounding like a door closing on the path. No more. That night, I slept deeply for the first time in years. The next morning, I drove to the coast, the ocean waves crashing like applause for my newfound strength. I stood on the beach, the sand gritty under my feet, the salt air cleansing my lungs. The sun rose, painting the sky in pinks and golds. A new beginning. The necklace around my neck felt lighter, not a chain of obligation, but a reminder of love for myself. And here's the lesson, dear listener, from an old woman who's seen the seasons change. Dignity isn't given, it's claimed. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gardens where you bloom. Let go of those who take without thanks, for in the quiet after the storm, you'll find peace like blooming flowers in an empty field, or an empty chair waiting for no one but you. Karma whispers, justice, and sometimes the greatest revenge is living free.